Hey guys, Ace Trainer Liam here. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon WTF Moments, the series where I go through hundreds of people's hard, dedicated work and tear it down as if I could do any better myself. If you're a fan of the series and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button, show me that you're enjoying it. Let's go for 1,000 likes on this video. Hit subscribe button if you're new so you never miss an episode. Share this video with a friend. Comment down below your favorite WTF moment or any that I've missed. And of course, without further ado, let's get straight into Pokemon Season 1, Episode 16, Pokemon Shipwreck. The recap of the previous episode starts with the narrator saying, could this be the end? And the answer is obviously no. We're 1 minute into what is going to be a 20-minute episode of the anime, and that's including the opening credits. Are we really supposed to believe this could potentially be a 19-minute tribute video in honor of our dearly departed heroes? Officer Jenny...
Which one? I can't tell. They all look alike. Isn't that so funny?
...gives a memorial for Ash, Misty, Brock, Jesse, and James, and nobody else. Apparently, all the Pokemon they had with them just aren't worth mourning. I can't remember the last time my favourite cartoon started off with a funeral for the protagonist. 90s were wild. Ash awakens to find out he's being held upside down by his jacket that's caught on a table, and that begs the question, what's that jacket made of? Whatever it is, it's frickin' strong. Saying that, it does survive the occasional flamethrower unscathed, so it's already proven itself to be pretty tough material. Ash looks out the window of the boat and sees good old regular fish, not a watertight Pokemon in sight, just bog standard regular old earth fish. Would it have been so hard to put like Seeking or Tentacle here? Ash and Co are really lucky the St. Anne landed on that rock formation. Any deeper into the ocean and I think their heads would have popped from the pressure. Oh look. More fan service. But to be honest, this time I'm less creeped out because these two characters, from all the info I can find online, are supposed to be in their early 20s. It's still creepy that cartoons will put stuff like this in purely to attract the attention of a certain type of viewer though. And don't forget, debate their ages down in the comments. Team Rocket awaken from this somehow joint daydream to find that they are directly underneath the gas hobs. And for some reason those gas hobs are firing geysers of fire down at them. But that raises the question, if they were on this whole time, surely Team Rocket should be dead, so did Meowth turn them on as a weird way to wake them up? If he did, wow, dick move. Also, these pipes are randomly just burst open, so why is the place not flooding? Jessie tells Ekans to burn a hole in the floor with acid so they can escape, but this causes the room that they're in to start flooding. And it just makes me think, how lucky are Team Rocket to have been knocked out on the first floor to not have been flooded up to this point. If they'd have been knocked out on any higher a floor of the ship before it capsized, they would have been underwater and would have drowned. That's some crazy plot armor. As Ash and Co try and decide whether it's better to climb up to what is the bottom of the ship or to dive down to where the open decks of the ship would be, Ash imagines himself drowning next to a locked door, which is really morbid. I first watched this when I was 10, mates. No wonder I'm a mess these days. Misty sends Goldeen down to check if the route to the decks is clear, and Goldeen comes across the lifeless floating bodies of Team Rocket. Seriously though, this is the cartoon that I watched before going to school? Really? To be fair, I don't really remember if it was before or after school I used to watch Pokemon, but if it bothers anybody, then I do apologise for not remembering the UK TV schedule from 21 years ago. After being saved by Goldeen, Team Rocket immediately threaten Ash and his friends with a Pokemon battle, to which Brock responds with this quality line. So, you followed us all the way to the bottom of the sea. Like, it's not even a WTF moment, it's just a really solid response. Ash and Brock decide to accept Team Rocket's challenge, sending out Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Geodude, obviously forgetting they're still on a sunken ship. The weight of all these Pokemon causes the ship to lose balance, and it begins to tilt, sending everybody sliding towards one end of the corridor. For the most part, this makes sense, but don't Coughing and Geodude float? Why are they affected? Ash sends all the Pokemon to the other end of the ship to try and balance it, but it tilts too far and all the humans slide across to join them. In his infinite wisdom, Ash then sends the same group of Pokemon to the other end of the ship expecting a different result. Isn't that the definition of insanity? No, Liam, that's trying to find logic in the Pokemon anime. They finally get to a point where the ship is almost balanced, and then everyone immediately returns their Pokemon to their Pokeballs, which surely would leave a massive weight difference since now there's nobody at the other end of the ship. Is there something I'm missing here? Everybody agrees there should be a truce until they escape. But of course, Pikachu still has to get one little pot shot in against Meowth, the little prick. Misty conveniently knows all about the structure of the St. Anne from apparently building a model of it. Pokemon's thrown around some ham-fisted plot points in their time, but this is the most ham-fisted yet. Sure, Misty's a water-type Pokemon trainer, but when has she ever shown interest in nautical engineering or even model making? So moments ago, everybody was worried about weight distribution, and then all of a sudden it's okay for Brock to send out Onix to use as a staircase? Surely that's going to add a massive amount of weight. Actually, I just looked this up and Onix is surprisingly light for its size. It's supposed to be 28 feet 10 inches long and only weighs 436 pounds, which does sound like a lot, but when you consider that WWE superstar The Big Show, in his own words in an interview with Chris Van Fleet, weighed 535 pounds at his heaviest, and he's only just over 7 feet tall, Onix is really light. The group are walking down a pitch black hallway and Brock chimes in with, "The lights are off. I can't see anything." No shit, Sherlock. I'm sure the others just figured total darkness was the norm. The next room is completely on fire. It's not these guys' day, is it? Ash can't think of any ideas, so asks Pikachu to shock him to give my brain a jump start. I'm not entirely sure that's how brains work. If that is the case, maybe scientists across the world should be sticking their fingers in plug sockets to find the solution to the global pandemic. There are so many things wrong with this scene. Firstly, Bulbasaur's vines are exactly that. They're vines, they're vegetation. They definitely wouldn't make a viable bridge in this particular scenario. Secondly, how is a 15-pound Bulbasaur strong enough to hold the weight of 3 humans and a Pikachu? Thirdly, why are they walking across the top of the vines? Surely this is the least safe way to cross an entire room of fire. Speaking of rooms of fire, are you the kind of person who likes your mouth to feel like one when it comes to spice? Because have I got the G Fuel for you. Spicy Demonade. It's lemonade flavored G Fuel, but with a whole heap of chili in there for your spicy needs. Personally, I'm a pussy. I can't handle too much heat, so I've got the regular lemonade G Fuel, but whichever one you choose, use code ACE and you will save yourself some money and help out this channel. Thank you. After Jessie reassures James, who's understandably very afraid to cross the room of fire on a flimsy bridge of vines, they turn around to find that Ash and Co have made it to the other side and they've taken Bulbasaur, aka the only bloody way across the room, with them. What a bunch of arseholes. Charmander welds a hole in the hull of the ship so everyone can swim out of it and almost gets himself game-ended. Being left out in the rain doesn't seem too bad now, does it? Hey look, everybody had escape ropes. Should have just used those. Yes, that joke was lazy and I'm sorry. Now in any kind of survival situation, communication is key. So the fact that none of our heroes bothered to check to see if Team Rocket had any water-type Pokemon to escape with is absolutely disgraceful. And frankly, I'm ashamed to be a supporter of someone who just leaves people to die after they've spent so long talking about working together. Arseholes, the lot of them, go Team Rocket. James suddenly remembers he has a Magikarp, and Jessie and Meowth praise him for it, even though last episode they were all clued up on how useless a Pokemon it is. What made them forget?
Well, Liam, they are going through quite a traumatic experience, so maybe that's why their Pokemon knowledge isn't quite up to par right now.
I don't know, mate. I don't think there's anything traumatic enough to make you forget Magikarp sucks. I know it can't really swim, but even if it could, they're asking a lot of a single fish. Direct quote from Ash. I wonder why Team Rocket still hasn't surfaced. Maybe because you left them to die without offering them any method of escape? You led them all the way to the only exit and then let them watch as you swam away. Brock even reckons there's nothing more they could have done. How about sending that Starmie, Goldeen and Squirtle back towards the ship before it fell even deeper into the ocean? Since dry land is nowhere in sight, Brock reminds Ash of the story of Noah, so Ash sends out Pidgeotto to go and look for land. I do find it a little bit weird that Christianity would exist in the Pokemon world, a world where creatures literally evolve in front of people's eyes, but sure.
Well, actually, Liam, Brock didn't specifically say that the story of Noah was from the Bible, so it could just be a story about a man called Noah that needed to find dry land.
Well, wouldn't that be a convenient coincidence? Give Magikarp credit, he's only bloody made it to the surface. Pidgeotto brings Team Rocket to the makeshift raft, and Ash, Brock and Misty assume they're dead and try to bury them at sea. And not one of them checks for a single pulse. Any kids who watch this anime better not take survival tips from these 3 dickheads. Pikachu is actively disappointed that Meowth didn't die from drowning. This is your franchise mascot, Pokemon, wishing death upon another creature. At this point, everyone's getting pretty hungry, so they start fantasizing about different ways to cook and eat Magikarp. Why is it always the new person in the group that gets treated like crap? And also, realistically, Pidgeotto would make a much more satisfying meal. Even if it is, as Misty explains, just scales and bones, Magikarp surely shouldn't be strong enough to break Meowth's teeth. Seriously, Meowth needs to sort out his oral hygiene, because I think he's got some dental issues. James gets angry that Magikarp is so useless it can't even be used as food and punts it into the ocean. Does nobody remember what this thing evolves into? Well, I bet they remember now. You gotta love Ash Ketchum sometimes. Standing face to face with a 21-foot tall sea monster that's royally pissed off for being kickstarted into evolution, and he just casually reaches into his pocket and whips out his Pokedex for a quick check. Gotta get those dex entries filled, even when faced with certain death. Misty sends out Staryu, Starmie, and Goldeen seemingly to battle Gyarados. But just as I'm about to make a snide remark, mocking her for sending out 3 Water-type Pokemon against a Gyarados when Pikachu's right there with his 4 times effectiveness, she reveals she's just going to use their strength to pull the raft away from Gyarados. Well played, Misty. Well played. Here's a crazy idea. Why doesn't James just return Gyarados to its Pokeball? I'm pretty sure saying you don't want to be a Pokemon's master and kicking it doesn't automatically deprogram the ball that it belongs in.
Well, actually, Liam, I think we're meant to assume that James lost Gyarados' Pokeball back on the St. Anne.
Hey, if it's never explicitly stated, I'm going to nitpick it. After all, who knows when Team Rocket's going to get another chance to have a Gyarados? We know! Shut up! Gyarados suddenly stops, and instead of, continuing to run away, everybody stops the raft. Who cares about the legend of Gyarados using Dragon Rage? Why give it a chance to use it when you've got the means to escape? I'm just saying, if they'd have kept going after Gyarados stopped, they wouldn't now be faced with 6 Gyarados. Apparently, Dragon Rage involves 6 Gyarados all swimming in a circle to create a huge tornado of water? That's a weird way to say exactly 40 hit points of damage to a single opponent. Direct quote from Misty. No one's ever gotten away from Dragon Rage. I mean, presumably anyone with 41 hit points or more has. Or, fairy types.
Liam, fairy types don't exist yet because they weren't introduced until Generation 6.
Listen, if this show can be inconsistent with what's canon and what's not, then so can I. So the episode ends with everybody caught in a huge water cyclone. Is it just me, or has this been the most stressful episode so far? I need to lie down. So those are my WTF moments for Pokemon Season 1, Episode 16, Pokemon Shipwreck. Let me know any I missed down in the comments below, or your favourite ones. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, hit subscribe if you're new, share this video with a friend. If you want to support the channel like these lovely people here do, pledge to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/AceTrainer_Liam. And of course, use code ACE to save yourself some money on G Fuel. But until next time, I'm AceTrainer Liam. Keep on training.